So today we're going to do some harvesting. We're going to harvest our beautiful collard greens. And earlier we did a video where we actually cut all of the collard greens back to the stem. We cut all of the stems back because the moths, I don't call them caterpillars, I call them moths because the moths had eaten them down so bad. And so our life lesson from that garden that day was it's okay to start over. Now, some people were like, why are you going to cut them all the way back? But sometimes we have to cut things off that are not benefiting us, that are eating away at our emotions, and things that are not beneficial to our souls, our minds, our will, and our emotions. So we cut them all the way back. And now we're going to actually see how we benefited from that cutting back. Look at these beautiful greens, girl. Look at those leaves right there. I mean, if my daddy was living, he would say, Bobby, those greens are pretty. You got some pretty green, girl. Now look at these leaves. Look at that one. Now we can see where they did come in and do a little damage, but nothing like they did before. Girl, look at that beauty right there. Now that's a green. That's gonna be some good eating. Now, people laugh at me because I don't cook greens. I've never cooked them. I've eaten them. My mother cooks them. Brenda, my granddaughter's grandmother, she cooks them for me. My cousin sister Tina Hayes, she cooks them for me, but I don't cook them. I just grow them. So today I'm gonna bless my friend girl with some collard greens, and I gotta show y'all this one right here. Look at that, and then bring out this beauty right here. Girl, that's gonna make a good pot. All of these together gonna be some good eating. And I don't put any pesticides on the greens. One year I actually put baking soda, sprinkled them over, and that worked. That deterred the moths. But then this year I did it and I didn't get the same effect. So I'm gonna actually show you how we cut them down, and then we should be able to get another harvest in before the end of the season. Now, some people say, you gotta let the frost hit them for them to be tender. That's not true. That's not true. You may have to cook them a little longer. But these greens right here, the last ones we cut, the last bushel we cut, they were tender. So that's not true. You don't have to wait till the frost hit them before you can cut them and eat them, or pick them and eat them. So I'm going to show you how we're going to actually cut them today so that we can get another harvest in. And I'm gonna start over here, and I'm gonna cut, and the stem, I'm gonna cut it from there. And what's gonna happen is it's gonna start growing again. See, it's already starting. So we're gonna cut here. There. Now what I am going to do is I'm gonna cut all the way all the way, so you can actually see what it's gonna, well, the start of what it's gonna look like when they grow back. See, this was cut before, and you see where another green is actually shooting up and growing. Now, I tested this last year. I didn't pull the greens out once it got cold. I just left them in there because I wanted to see if the following year some greens would actually grow from the leftover stem, and they did. They weren't as pretty, of course, as these, but they will grow. So what I'm gonna do this year, I'm actually gonna pull them out and I'm gonna dig up the soil. And once I dig up the soil, I'm actually going to lay the stem of it in the soil so it can benefit it, so it can feed back. And that's like God, he just continually feeds us. So that's a life lesson in the garden. God continually feeds us. So I'm gonna start this beautiful right here. Look at that. Now, that's a little damage, but it's edible. Now look at that one. Just totally beautiful. And I'll tell you another thing. Now we know we clean greens, and you know we wash them and we clean them and we cut them and that. But these greens, they don't have a lot of dirt on them. They don't have a lot of soil on them, and that makes it easier. It makes it easier for them to be clean when you clean them. It has a little damage, but for the most part, ooh, girl, we getting down. I'm gonna put these in here. Ooh, we'll have a good, as my auntie used to say, a good mess of greens. Look at that. Beautiful. So we just want to cut down in here. Now again, I don't cook greens. I just grow them. But I know some people now are more conscious and they cook with turkey butts or turkey tails instead of sweet meat. And my cousin shared with me today that in parts of New York, it's hard for them to get sweet meat. I'm like, really? One of our older friends lives in New York, and she said they cannot find sweet meat. But now I know we're a little more conscious about what we're putting in our bodies. And when my cousin Tina cooks greens, she uses turkey butts. And we know now, you know, we can freeze greens. Well, we've been doing that. Well, we freeze them and then we can eat them throughout the year. And look at the back of these. Hardly, well, no soil, no dirt on the back of them. So it's gonna make cleaning them a little bit easier. So I'm gonna just cut this one all the way back, and so it'll give you, you'll see how it looks once all of the greens are off. Now what I am also going to do later on, I'm going to do it later on after this video, but I'm going to go in and I'm going to, for some of them, I'm going to trim them down a little more so that most of the energy will be used for a shorter stem to grow. So I'm gonna actually take all of these off so you'll see what a bald headed one looks like. And that's like the start of a green growing. So that's like the new growth. So that's what it would look like. And that's what it looked like previously when we
Good morning, good afternoon.
when we cut them all the way down. So after we finish cutting them all the way down, we're gonna come back and we're gonna show you what it looks like for to get ready for a new harvest of greens. So we'll show you that in the next video.